Hello and welcome everybody to the demo day for batch 23. My name is Marius Franke, I am the program manager of the STARTPLATZ Accelerator, and together with my colleague Lucas, we will be your hosts tonight. We are very glad that so many of you have joined us here tonight to see our teams of batch 23 pitching one last time during this program. That's it. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's have a look at what to expect from tonight. First of all, we will have a look on the highlights of this batch. What happened within the last 4 months and how did the teams develop? Then we get right to the centerpiece of this evening. We will see 6 pitches, 6 teams, each 5 minutes, and afterwards there will be time for some questions by our top-notch jury. Of course, we will also let you have a short sneak peek for the teams of the next batch, batch 24, which is actually starting already next week on Monday, so no break for us. And in the end, there will, of course, be time for networking, so you can get to know the teams better, you can talk to the founders, you can talk to each other. But for those of you who are not yet familiar with us or who might have forgotten, I hope not, just a quick reminder, who are we? We aim to give our startups a higher chance of succeeding. And how do we do that? So we take them in at an MVP stage. We give them resources. We give them access to our network, to our mentors. We have input sessions, workshops. We have a lot of resources for our teams. And in the end, the goal is to make them investment ready. And let's have a look at the highlights. So we started out with 11 teams. Now tonight you will see 6 fully accelerated teams, and let's see what they've done within the last 4 months. So a huge shout out to all of our mentors, to all of our speakers for making this program not only possible but really awesome. We can't cover all of the sessions individually here. For that you would actually need to join our program, but we will have a look at a few newcomers. So they gave a session for the first time this batch. And we have Gustav Ritzstadt here, the CTO and co-founder of Verbling. And he shared some insights with the teams from running an XYZ company. Furthermore, we had an awesome session with Laura and Gina from Demonostic, who are an alumni of us. So they joined us for batch 20, so their demo day was actually about a year ago. And they showed us the secrets of successful media and journalists' approaches. The topic was PR. And last but not least, one of my personal favorites also, we had a session last Friday with Jörg Kappner, co-founder of Gorillas, and he shared his learnings, his secrets from the first year of building Gorillas, a truly awesome story. And we always tell our teams to go out there, get feedback, talk to customers, talk to investors, and we are really glad to present that they actually did that. And we gathered some numbers, and our teams talked to 286 or even more potential B2B customers. They talked to 732 B2C customers, and they talked to 29 investors. So that's our numbers, in my opinion. Of course, we also try to practice what we preach. We always tell them to talk to their customers, and we also talk to our customers. Of course, we ask more questions than this one, but we want to present you the results of the question. What do the teams like the most about STARTPLATZ Accelerator? So they really appreciated our big network in the Accelerator, our speakers, our experts, our mentors. They really like the one-on-ones with mentors, so we do individual intros to our experts, and they meet without us actually. And furthermore, they also appreciate the exchange with the other teams, the other startups. So that can be just startups from the ecosystem, from the other parts of STARTPLATZ, or their batchmates, which is happening a lot in the founder sessions, where they can spar with each other, where we track our KPIs and share them from week to week. And it's kind of like group therapy actually, because the teams can help each other really, really well. And I just mentioned it briefly, we do KPI tracking, so we do that to create a sense of urgency. We track the KPIs from week to week. They have to talk about it. Why did it go well? Why did it go not so well? And so this in our mind creates some artificial positive pressure, so the teams execute faster than they would do without us. Yeah, without further ado, let's pitch. And with that, I give the mic to my colleague, Lucas.
Thank you so much, Marius. And happy to have you all here. Good evening. I'm currently in Stockholm and happy to join the demo day for batch number 3. I'm the managing director at STARTPLATZ Accelerator, and I'm super excited for today's 6 startup pitches. If you just move to the next slide, Marius. We have a great jury today, which we will quickly introduce before we start with the pitches. And we will get all of them on stream. And we'll do a quick introduction, maybe 1 minute each. We have Shika here from Borleton. We have Johannes from Cusp Capital. We have Alex from Cherry Ventures and Anna from B2V. Warm welcome. Thank you for joining us. And maybe we can start with you, Shika, with a quick introduction.
Yeah, terrific. Thanks so much for having me here today, Lucas and Marius, and delighted to meet the teams now and hear the pitches. So quickly about me. I'm originally from Düsseldorf, studied at WHU, went on to JP Morgan Investment Banking, and then actually I was an entrepreneur for the last 6 years in India, as part of which I built the largest direct-to-consumer business in the apparel space in India with $100 million top line. It was a crazy ride. And then afterwards, I decided to join Bolleton Capital in Berlin, where I'm based. And Bolleton Capital usually covers ticket sizes from $1 million up to $50 million out of 2 funds. And sort of we've been around in the European VC ecosystem since around 21 years, and we invest across Europe.
Great to have you here, Shika. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. And then we jump over to Johannes.
Hi, everyone. Also, a great pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation as well. So briefly about myself, I've been working with the team that now constitutes Cusp Capital for about 3 years. My background is at the intersection of private and public markets, so with regards at the European Commission's Capital Market Division. And I studied ethics, politics, and economics back in the day in the United States. Briefly on Cusp Capital, so it's a pretty new fund. We just announced the 300 million fund. Have been working together as a team for many years, a decade plus in many cases, and invested early in companies that are worth more than 10 billion euros to 100 billion euros today. Actually, sorry for the hiccup. And yeah, as excited as everyone else to hear the pitches.
Awesome, thanks, Johannes. And then we'll jump to Alex.
Thanks, Lucas and Marius, for having me. I'm Alex from Cherry Ventures. With Cherry Ventures, we basically built the fund that we as entrepreneurs always wanted to have. That means if we invest, then we come in with full conviction and full commitment. And we want to be your first institutional money in. That means we're early investor focusing on pre-seed and seed, with ticket sizes between €500,000 and €3 million initially, but have quite a large fund for our stage, so can help you throughout the full life cycle of your companies. Before joining Cherry and myself, I've been building a fintech software company. So turn to the dark side of the table, if you want to say so, and really looking forward to meet you all.
Awesome. Good to have some people on the dark side here. And then last but not least, Anna, welcome.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. I'm Anna. I'm part of the investment team at B2V. We are an early stage venture capital fund investing into pre-seed and seed companies across Europe, both in the B2C as well as B2B sector. And I personally look a lot at fintech, but also education tech companies. And yeah, looking forward to all of the pitches today.
Great. Thank you, Anna. And good for you too. The first startup will be a fintech startup. So you can go all in there. Okay, I will put you back to the bench now, and we will start with the first pitch. So we'll hear you back in a few minutes. All right. So first team up, we have Divizend, and Julian is the CTO and co-founder. He will pitch you Divizend. Enjoy.
Great. So, hi, I'm Julian, CTO and co-founder of the German wealth tax fintech Divizend. With Divizend, we help investors maximize their dividend returns. Imagine you own dividend stocks from outside your home country, like Nestlé from Switzerland. You have the problem of double taxation of your dividends. You get taxed twice, withholding tax and income tax. And at the moment, refund opportunities are widely missed out due to fiscal complexities and technical challenges. Even though the EU has been recommending a solution for about 20 years, nothing happened till now. That's why with our platform, we unify the reclaim process for many different countries. Our B2C software helps private investors to reclaim the taxes by automating the withholding tax refund process in a very convenient way. After all, the dividends market is a $1 trillion business, what you can see on the left side. On the right side, you can see the total addressable market. We're talking about $19 billion in paid withholding taxes on cross-border securities, and more importantly, $18 billion in taxes are still unreclaimed every year, which gives us enormous room to grow. And as Peter Thiel says, competition is for losers. There's no other SaaS company on the market right now targeting retail investors. So we address a completely new customer segment here. Our product is very convenient and consists of just 4 steps. First, you connect your securities portfolios. Second, you get a fast dashboard overview. Third, you do the claim setup. And fourth, you submit the application. And we already have proof of success. This is the first digital refund filed via Divizend. On the left side, you can see the filing document, and on the right side, the document by the Swiss tax authorities, which confirms the refund. Our business model is simple, straightforward, and has a high margin. Our revenues consist of transaction fees, namely 17.5% of the reclaimable amount. On the left side, you can see a representative example for a German investor with a customer profit of 198 euros per year. And due to a withholding period of up to 4 years back, there's a room for profit leverage of up to 792 euros per customer in the first year, as you can see on the right side. With a unique business model as an API-first company and a strong partnerships with cutting-edge brands like banks and stock exchanges, and magazines and web portals and marketplaces, as you can see on this tableau, we have low or zero customer acquisition costs. We simply go where customers are. Our international rollout strategy is based on blitzscaling, a term invented by Reid Hoffman. Withholding tax refunds are inherently international, and as an API-first company, we are the perfect blitzscaler. As you can see on the financial chart, our business model scales like a hockey stick. Within 5 years, we see revenues of up to 40 million euros and a strong cash flow, which is a key financial metric. Based on our partnerships, we expect 1.5 million euros in revenue in 2021 and 3 million in 2022. Right now, we're in beta mode and have had about 100 calls with test customers to actually make the reclaim process as convenient as possible, and of course, to incorporate user feedback into all of this. We already have a diversified world-class team with more than 30 years combined sales experience, up to unicorn status. All key positions are filled by outstanding entrepreneurs with track record in leading companies like Allianz, Credit Suisse, Fontobel, and unicorns like Numbers. We are fully self-financed and bootstrapped. As a remote-first company, we have a lean cost structure and a solid 6-digit financial funding from the co-founders. We already have great traction and are the winners of the Accelerator programs EDI, EY Academy, German Accelerator, and also the Luxembourg-based programs Credible Kickstarter and Fit for Start. Finally, let's look at the iconic stock of Nestlé. If you had invested 10,000 francs in 1960, you would have only about 750,000 francs if you hadn't reinvested anything. But when reinvesting both the dividend and the refund withholding tax, you would have about 3.5 million francs now. That's a message, isn't it? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Julia. We'll just get the jury on board now and start with questions. So, welcome to jury. Who wants to start with a question?
If nobody will start, I will. Julian, thank you so much for this presentation. The value add is pretty clear. I'm very interested to learn more around the customer acquisition. You said you go where customers are and you've got low customer acquisition costs at the moment. Well, how do you think about customer acquisition at scale, and what happens if that low CAC channel taps out? What's the next plan in acquiring customers?
Yeah, so in general, so first of all, what we don't want to use like Facebook ads or Google ads or so, because that is just not targeted enough and costs a lot of money. And of course, we see, as mentioned, for example, in connections with all of these banks. If we get into a bank and get the bank more or less as a customer, so it's not really B2B, it's more like B2B2C. So if this bank, for example, integrates our platform into their online banking, then we already create concepts for that. So that if you have your online banking and see that you have received a dividend there and withholding tax is refundable on the dividend, then you can click directly a button inside the online banking of your bank and then be referred to a platform. That's one of the main parts, just these connections to banks, and of course the APIs, also connecting the APIs of these banks. So that's really important for us, that we have the best connection and also get the data as easily as possible into our platform. Because of course we don't want the user to enter everything manually, like enter the entire portfolio manually, but just click a few buttons, maybe enter their online banking credentials and import everything. So
yeah, and therefore the banking connection makes sense. Okay, yeah. Terrific. Any other questions from the team?
Yeah, maybe one question from my side. Maybe you could deep dive a bit into like the typical target user you're targeting. So how much knowledge and how are they more like the heavy traders? Have they like several stock portfolios across different institutions and so on?
Yeah, so that's also very, very important, that we don't prefer any kind of investor really. That's also why we chose this percentage amount in our business model, the 17.5%, and not a fixed fee, but so that is profitable for everyone. So even if that's if a customer is just someone who has maybe 10 euros or 10 francs of refunds from Switzerland, then that is still profitable through our platform. And at the same time, of course, there will be a cap, so that the fee doesn't get excessively high for very large portfolios. But what we are targeting are the retail investors, which have small portfolios. And of course, dividend stocks are always a long-term investment. So that's why what we focus on. So heavy trading in dividend stocks doesn't really make sense. That's what we are also going for. Like not only so find, act, maximize, that's our slogan, and that's also that we want to educate people about the best dividend stocks, so that we really guide them through the entire process of dividend investing, from finding the best dividend stocks, then buying them, and finally maximizing the dividend return through the refund.
It's a fascinating topic, and full disclaimer, I work for the European Commission on that exact topic, how to facilitate that. So interesting to see that it hasn't been solved yet, but it's great that you found a solution. My core question really is, where do you want to go beyond withholding tax relief for dividends, right? I mean, that's a nice entry point, but if you really don't want to be, commodified away in the short to medium term, where do you see yourself?
Yeah, exactly. So this larger platform is coming in. So what our vision is to have kind of a modular ecosystem for dividend investments. So for example, for this entire maximizer application, so this withholding tax refund application, we have built a lot of underlying infrastructure. So for example, we have built the securities API, which is the first API which unifies aggregating securities portfolios. So of course, in the EU, there's PSD2 for payment accounts, but there's nothing for investment accounts. So that's why we are building the securities API. Then we have built also.
All right, sorry to interrupt, but time is up. 5 minutes for everybody. So you have to continue chatting afterwards.
All right.
Thank you for the good questions. Thank you for the pitch, Julian. And we will jump to the next team. And next up, we have Leon, co-founder at Felix Medicus. Enjoy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to my presentation about Felix Medicus, the platform for fulfilling life for doctors. Doctors today face the issue that at the beginning of their career, they really have a lot of challenges. Their studies are have a very school-based approach. They're not used to take a lot of responsibilities, and they have a lot of free time. On the other hand, in their first job, they have a lot of responsibility. They need to lead a team. They need to organize themselves, and they didn't get enough support from their employers. So that leads to a lot of uncertainty in the doctors. They fear too much work and too much responsibility, and they actually don't have enough information to see where good employers are and where they have an easy start. So what we are doing now from Felix Medicus is really supporting doctors in this challenging time, and we do it by particularly helping them to provide fitting information to the individual situation each of the doctor has. We support them with their job search. We support with bureaucracy. We represent their interests with the clinics, and we also foster an exchange within the doctors. So that's how we become this trustworthy partner, and then we plan in the future to support doctors throughout their whole career journey. And this could be, for example, we organize their trainings. We help them to also find the placements as a senior doctor, or we even can go that far to support them with building their own practices. To our business model, today we are already earning money by doing consulting and recruiting services for clinics, because we have a lot of deep understanding of the markets and what the young doctors want. The standard and basic functionalities for free for doctors and clinics for now. And the next phase in a year, once we have a more grown user base, we will also start charging the clinics for just using the platform and for the additional platform functionalities like giving out ads or being presented in the way they want. And finally, at the end, we also want to charge doctors for additional offers that we can provide in the future. To our roadmap, today we already have almost 1,000 registered doctorate and medical students. We have more than 100 clinics and practice who are interested in our project. We have our first paying customer with more than 5,000 euros of monthly revenue. I think we have a quite good understanding of the markets, especially since we talk to so many young doctors and know exactly what they want and what their challenges are. From that, we start creating a lot of relevant content for the doctors, where the first feedback is really good and people like what we are telling them about the topics, and we're building a very strong brand. So in the future, in the next year, we will do this personal content AI-based. Everybody gets like personalized information he needs. We want to automate the matches between the clinics and doctors. We will build a very active network of doctors, and we will therefore have a very attractive advertising opportunities for clinics. So in 3 years, we will really be the trustworthy partner of all doctors, help all of them to find the proper job, and we will also use our dominant market power to pressure a little bit on the clinics to improve the working conditions. So to be able in the long run to build like real comprehensive services for doctors. Finally, to our team, our core team consists of Torben, who is our IT guy and who is so far building the platform on his own. We have Mara, who's a doctor herself, and she really knows the challenges of the young doctors and can really speak with the heart of a doctor. And myself, who has a business background, I'm responsible for marketing and sales and organizations. But it's really important that it's not just the 3 of us, but we have a broad network of students, of medical students, of doctors who really like our idea, who like what we're doing and who support us whenever we need them by just giving us feedback or by making marketing for us. So last but not least, our vision, we from Felix Medicus, we want to make the medical profession a dream job again. Thanks for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Leon. We'll get the jury back on board for our Q&A. Who wants to start?
I can kick it off. Thank you, Leon, for this pitch. Pretty cool. I think like the overall problem statement makes a lot of sense. We also see this in one of our investment, Amboss, which basically provides the knowledge management tool for it. And I think like what you're building is a cool next evolution. The question I'd be having is like, how can you build the trust for the doctors that with Felix Medicus, they basically can evolve themselves further, and how can you guarantee quality on your platform?
Trust, actually, this is what is at least at small scale already working quite well. This is that we can, we are sending out a lot of this content with like really where people see that we are tackling the problems they're actually facing, since most of us is really done by doctors and we talk to so many doctors. So they already see that we're really talking about the points they actually have. We are already working together with the student representations in many cities of Germany. So they all kind of like our approach, and they say that's a good thing to support it. And what we are also doing is that the profiles that people are setting up on our platform, they are mainly focused on what people are looking for in terms of their working conditions, in terms of their education, and really putting these points into the center of the discussion with the clinics. And that actually already works for many clinics and like many interactions between clinics and doctors, where they really talk about the important points and not have like a normal job interview where people are scared of asking the relevant questions. And we already see that people, trust our brand.
I have one more question regarding your future vision. So you talked about like offering additional services to doctors. So maybe you could dive a bit deeper into this. So how are you planning to go beyond like the initial job mediation in the future?
Yeah. So the approach we are taking is because of all the feedback we got in the last year, that like the most challenging phase is really this phase from end of studies to the beginning of the job, where we identified a lot of topics that people don't know how to solve, and we have some good ideas how we solve it, and we see it works in a small scale already. And then we're just saying, and I mean the doctors, I think this target group is like very attractive, and there's so many things we can do with them. And obviously you can also do placements at a later stage of their career, which is even much more lucrative. We already have many people asking us, can't we do also like premium or consulting services for doctors as well? There's many services you can offer, which I was already mentioning, like what are your different options, what you can do after your clinic times. And we're just in the process of trying out what all the things we can do there. But we are pretty confident that's like very attractive target group, and especially they are very underserved at the moment, I would say, and many of them really don't behave too smart.
We have time for one more question, if there are any more.
Terrific. Then I'll take this one real quick. Leon, thanks so much for the presentation. I'd be intrigued to know a little bit more how you think about internationalization and tackling different markets beyond Germany. And that'd be interesting to know.
That's a very, very good and fair question. And to be honest, we haven't finally decided how we go on with it. To understand, our platform at the moment is 80% like really German. So we know how to attract the people from the German universities. And in terms of, that's actually something the clinics really like about our platform, because they oftentimes have the problem that they have a lot of applicants who don't speak any German. So, but of course, we also see that for some of our customers who don't live, where the clinics are not like in the very attractive cities, it's very tough to get like the German generation Y people to go there. So and we already see in these clinics that they have a lot of foreign doctors there. So it might be a kind of very close next step for us to also do it in a national way and source it from somewhere else. But for now, the core of the market is like that it's mainly Germans. That's what the clinics want for now. So we have to see how we go on.
All right, time is up. Thank you, Leon. Thank you for the pitch, for the answers and the questions. And now we jump to our next startup in the energy sector, which is aerodynamics, and RIIICO pitching. Enjoy.
Yeah, hello everyone, and thanks for having me. I'm Hauke, I'm from aerodynamics, and we are developing a smart charging software for electric vehicle named IO-Elon. That means electric online network, and we are aiming to charge electric vehicle on the next level. That means we combine fleet management and charging management in one software. To understand what we are doing, I have to introduce you to Scotty. Scotty Miller is a fleet manager, and he wants to electrify his fleets. He's facing many new challenges. He has a huge question mark regarding the energy cost because of charging during the peak times in the load curve and the battery decay. That means decreasing battery capacity, which dramatically decreases the value of the vehicle. He's missing information about the availability. How far can I go with which car? To reduce the CO2 emissions was maybe his biggest motivation. And now he has no idea how he can reduce it efficiently, the CO2 emission, and maybe he has his own PV plant to include in the charging cycle and has no idea how to do it. There's a huge administrative expense based on paper and manual processes and billing and logbook. All this can bring extra costs to more than 2,500 euros per vehicle per year. For this, we developed IO-Elon, a cloud-based charging control, which includes up to 12 data points, like PV prediction, to know how much energy is possible to charge. There are also more information regarding the grid and facility data, and also using data like appointment data and delivery data and last mile delivery. The USP lies in the integration of live vehicle and battery data to know the state of charge and state of health of each vehicle to the whole time. By this information, we charge every vehicle with the perfect amount of energy to the perfect time. We are on the EV mobility market. This is a huge mega trend, I would say, and the market growth in Europe could be very terrific. Today, we see the potential of 56 million euros, and this scale up to 225 to 1.3 million euros in Europe. Our software is flexibly applicable. It doesn't matter if this is for residential buildings, for last mile delivery, as well for company fleets and buses and trucks. We're selling our software in a business in software as a service model for 9 to 29 euros per vehicle per month. So really easy scalable with the fleet size. Our traction today is quite rising. Today we have 5 customers, like a huge hardware producer in southern Germany. He's building a green factory with 1 megawatt of PV plant, which is to integrate in the charging process. Also a huge energy supplier in northern Germany, which electrify his fleets with our support and our software. There are also 5 more leads in negotiation. Here we're talking about the average deal size of 780 euros in monthly recurrent revenue. That means there are 26 vehicles in average. How are the competitions? This is every time a huge topic, and we combine us with Electrify, the Mobility House, and GridX. The biggest USP lies in the integration, the full integration of vehicle data. Electrify did this as well. They was focused on the buses, but they was acquired by Ford earlier this year. So there are only competitors without data integration from the vehicle. The USP lies also on the battery lifetime optimization and in the needs-oriented charging. We are a huge topic to save costs is peak shaving, which all of us do. And the forecast per recharging did we much better than the others. We know in 24-hour forecast how much energy is possible to charge. To give you an overview about our financing roadmap, we got earlier this year a pre-seed round of 170K equity free and 100K for equity. We want to close later this year a seed round with 1 million to 1.5 million to grow the team and grow the market to reach to new regions on the road. We are a dynamic and diverse team of 10 people. There are 2 more people coming this year. We have 5 full-time, 5 part-time, and still searching for new people. This is it. Thank you very for your interest, and yeah, let's connect on LinkedIn. And I'm very looking forward to your question. Thanks.
Thank you, Hauke. Great pitch. Well in time. And now let's hear some questions. All right, 5 minutes for the Q&A now.
I have one question on the USP and competitions, topic. So yes, you listed a couple of competitors. I just would like to understand the USPs you mentioned on the product side a little bit better in detail, especially in how make sure that it will take them a very long time technologically to catch up with you on the dimensions you mentioned.
Yeah, sure. For the integration of the vehicle data, we developed by ourselves a small piece of hardware which will be plugged into each vehicle to read out the vehicle data or the battery data. The data is sent by RIIICO cards to our software, and this took huge time of development, but we made it. So now we can scale by this. This is one huge point, and the algorithm have to work with this data. So all our competitors, or the algorithms, the charging algorithms of the competitors can't work with vehicle data because they don't have them. So this is a huge development time they have to make to get this into the process. So this is why we are many years in front of them, and yeah, this is why we can charge now efficiently during the perfect time regarding the demand of the vehicle.
Thanks.
Think about where to install these solutions. Like, what is the pre-requirement for basically someone you'd sell it to? Like, what would be a minimum size of kind of vehicles that make sense?
Yeah, at least 2 cars are very ideal. As many cars as possible. That's to say, to have the biggest savings. So it really doesn't matter how many cars they have in their fleet. We have many different cases, from 2 cars to 150 cars in our customers. The problem is that they're a diverse use case of the vehicle. They are like sharing vehicle, their management vehicle, and their service vehicle, and all of them have to charge differently. And this is what you have to make sure, that each vehicle get charged during the perfect time, and if they are needed. So if the sharing vehicle is not needed, you don't have to charge it to save the battery health, for example. This is the main issue. So at least 2 cars to have some savings. As more cars, you have more savings. Yeah. If this answers your question.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And thanks so much, Hauke. It's great to see you again. A quick question on the customer acquisition side. Find it very intriguing since you address different segments. I'd be intrigued to know if your customer acquisition also differentiates, and what are the channels you use today?
The challenge is to find the customers who are facing this problem also already today, because it's a future topic. If you have many cars in your fleet, they are moving partly the fleet to electric vehicles. Our customers today are mainly already working in the energy sector. So they have the knowledge about the energy demand and how to use an electric vehicle, and they see the pain and charge them efficiently. We have also many sharing vehicle. So we have fleets, company fleets, and sharing. These are the 2 use cases we have today. We are working on last mile delivery on the next stage, because this is a very important topic. If you imagine there are some delivery vehicle, you know many hours in before how far they go at what day, and you can charge them for this perfect amount. Yeah. So these are three main customers, and we are thinking about to diversify our portfolio to the B2C sector to have a perfect product for residential buildings, because they have PV plants, they have electric vehicle, and they want to charge their own energy.
Understood. And what are the channels you're using? I'm afraid we may have run out of time, though.
Yeah. There was
the customer acquisition channels, the marketing channels.
Okay.
To get to those customers. Is it direct
okay.
calling, or what is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, today it's the direct touch. So of direct calling, I'm working for this all day long to get these customers new on board. So we have a completely full funnel. There are many customers in, but the very bottom are 5 customers. And we are working in future with channel partners. So this is the main distribution channel to
all right.
part of the
time is up.
And, yeah.
Thank you, Hauke, for your pitch and your answers. And thank you for the questions.
Yeah, looking forward.
We will jump to our next startup, which is pair programming from the education sector. And pitching for you will be Max. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Max, co-founder of Pair Programming. And 10 years ago, I was taught computer science in school by a physics teacher. And do you know what I've learned? That I don't really like computer science. 5 years ago, Angela Merkel stated, "I believe that the ability to program will become one of the basic skills of young people." And has something changed until today? To ensure that every student comes into contact with computer science once in their school career, we are lacking 24,000 teachers in Germany alone. And as a result, computer science is often taught by math or physics teachers. So students today are still experiencing the same struggles I did. So the bad news is nothing has changed in the past 10 years. The good news is a solution is in sight. PairUp, a digital learning platform that enables any teacher to give high quality computer science lessons students love. So no prior knowledge in computer science is needed for the teachers. Learning should be fun. And thus we try to engage 12 to 17 years old students with a game-based entrepreneurship environment. For students, the learning process is embedded in a story. They found their own startup, which they lead to success by solving computer science tasks. Our tasks are built of input like text, audio, pictures, and video, and exercises like a visual block-based coding environment you see here, and many, many more. And when solving exercises correctly, students get rewarded with coins. There it is. With us, students learn about the exciting world of entrepreneurship in a playful way, in individual work, or for our name, Pair Programming. What about the teachers? We have them covered. By using our large pool of material ranging from AI to programming and data privacy, teachers can prepare high-quality 21st century lessons without any prior knowledge. If they like it, they add it with just one click. So we stand out from our competition by assisting the teachers during the learning process, offering collaborative learning for students, and mapping all our content to the curriculum. So let's talk about business. Our initial market is Germany, with a total market size of 6.8 billion euros. So there are about 20,000 schools that are possible customers for us. Because sales cycles are long in schools, we're going for a bottom-up approach first. Our initial target group are computer science teachers, as well as STEM teachers who are asked to teach computer science and are lacking prior training. So we want to create a thriving community for teachers, where they can help each other out and benefit from each other. And to provide this long-term usable platform, we are working on a tool to let them create their own material and share it within the community. To grow our community, we set the entry barriers as low as possible by offering a free pricing model for teachers. More users improve our platform, bring it to schools, and thus increase our visibility there. Visibility is important because we expect schools to be our main revenue stream. For schools, we offer an annual subscription model, and to avoid the long sales cycles and their tight budgeting, we'll provide a sponsorship approach. Regional foundations, education providers, support, and business association can act as sponsors by covering the licensing fees. So, what have we achieved so far? To date, we have a stable version with 450 50 registered teachers. Our content of 15 hours has been used by over 8,000 students. We've raised 550K from public grants and are funded until June 2022 and still own 100% of our shares. We won 2 renowned prizes, the Delina, you might not know, but it is the biggest EdTech award here in Germany, and the Global EdTech Startup Award Public Vote from Israel. This is pair programming, and we develop highly scalable web applications. We are 10 people with diverse backgrounds, such as programming, teaching, design, psychology, and management. And what does our roadmap look like? Well, we are happy to announce that we launched the freemium model in September and start building the teacher community. In October, we host a statewide school competition with the Ministry of Economics. To scale, we are looking to close an investment deal in the amount of 1 million euros until the end of the first quarter 2022. With this funding, we are planning to expand to other STEM subjects and enter new markets in the EU, like the Netherlands, Scandinavia, and the UK. When working on my own software project, I realized that computer science is an awesome subject because it lets me understand and shape the world of tomorrow. To prepare students for the challenges of the 21st century, we enable teachers from other subjects to teach computer science. So if you want to test our app, feel free to create an account and join our community at www.pairup.de or tell teachers you know about us. And for a personal conversation, please contact me directly. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Max. Great pitch. And let's bring in the jury for some questions. Who wants to start?
I can start. First of all, thanks so much, Max. I really like the idea because my informatics classes back in school were also really bad. So I definitely also see the pain point. I would like to better understand the whole content creation process. So from what I understood, you do both like in-house content creation, but also follow this community-driven approach. So how do you plan to scale the whole in-house content production process in the future, and also in terms of the community content? So how do you ensure like high quality of content and so on?
Mm-hmm. So as you mentioned, we have an in-house creation. We are working with the University of Osnabrück, and there's our mentor, Professor Dr. Michael Brinkmeyer, and he is like the professor for computer science, and he helps us create high quality content. So we have like basic content for the minimum, let's say, curricula in terms of computer science. And we also have this content creation tool where we empower teachers to create their own content, and we also give them the opportunity to map the curriculum, to map the content to the curriculum. So we want to ensure high quality because we see a lot of learning platforms with a lot of crappy content. So we are going to implement some things in terms of quality assurance. At first, we're going to moderate this content, and then we're gonna hand it over to our teachers. So give them like moderator rights.
I probably had a similar experience. Sorry.
Just one addition, and we're also thinking about partnering up with a content publisher here in Germany. So, but it's not official yet. So.
Okay, so probably had a similar experience to Anna and everyone else in terms of computer science. My main question is there any way you can avoid selling to schools? Because to be honest, you mentioned it yourselves, it's a very long sales cycle. It's very far away from market incentives. It's going to be painful for you guys. So what is your alternative?
Well, as I mentioned, I think the bottom-up approach to go directly B2C and try to build this teacher community and let them bring it to the schools so that they convince the principals the software is really needed. But I think as you can see in India or as you can see in the United States, there are definitely trends going towards e-learning. And I think, as always, Germany will follow in a few years if we have Wi-Fi and laptops.
Sorry, that makes a lot of sense. And how have you actually thought about kind of once you have someone excited to also help them onwards in the journey, like even after school or even like once they graduate?
So right now, really concentrating on schools because we think that it is important, and there's like a lot of before school or after school or private alternatives. but it's nothing really for, like, there's no teaching platform. There's a lot for organization of learning material, but not really during the teaching itself. So that is where we come in. I think that is our sweet spot, and we try to use the combination of scientific evidence and digital potentials, like learning analytics and smart algorithms. There's a lot to unravel and also use it in the classroom, and no one does it right now. So that is our opportunity, and that is our sweet spot. So we're going to stay.
Makes sense.
Terrific. If you have half a minute left, Lucas, or?
Yeah, we have 1.5 minutes actually.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Max. Really loved your comment on the laptops and the Wi-Fi in India and Germany. Really interesting. I've actually spent the last 6 years in Asia, and I've seen sort of the edtech space over there, and sort of how it's different from Germany. And I do believe that somehow charging via governments is important, because I think the private willingness to pay for education here is quite low in this part of the world. And that's not to say that there is an issue in acquiring customers. There definitely is, and I agree with what Johannes said to some extent, for sure. I'd be intrigued to know how you actually, keep the community of teachers engaged. I think, first of all, it's incredible that you've already acquired 450 teachers, but I think the backbone of the entire thing is going to be keeping the STEM teachers engaged and having that strong community. And what are your mechanisms beyond content of how you sort of create that raving community of STEM teachers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're thinking of implementing a recommendation system. So if you recommend it to another teacher, you get like a free premium account, and if you also like get set incentives for them to really create good content or to improve the content itself. So right now we're thinking also about doing stuff like a little profile, and where you can like communicate, but also only communicate about like the teaching stuff. So it's not like we're not going to implement a social network or to improve, to build a community which improves education together. And I think if they can see the benefit in that, if they see that there are other teachers with different expertise which they can benefit from, so, and help each other out, I think if they realize that, they will stay. So that is.
And what is the state of the product today?
Time is
Never
up.
mind.
Visit our website.
You can log in or register online, actually.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Max, for the pitch and the questions and the answers. And we are going to start up number 5 and going into the manufacturing space, actually, with RIIICO, and the co-founder Jan is going to pitch you. Enjoy.
Hi and welcome. My name is Jan, and I'm one of the 3 co-founders of RIIICO. We build autonomous planning software for 3D factory models. Let's start off with the problem. Manufacturers today need to adapt faster and faster because market demand is changing. But many manufacturing companies do not have any accurate factory data for their factory layouts or the factory equipment. There are ideas for 3D models, but maintaining digital models is very painful because there are not a lot of sustainable approaches on how to keep them up to date. And by the time you have changed something, someone has to update that 3D model. We think a different perspective. We are coming from the 3D scanning space. And what you see here is a 3D scan, which is currently used in the industry by our partners and clients to create millimeter accurate measurements of factories. The main problem is computers do not understand what you and I see there. You can see, for example, the 3D printer in front, but a computer only sees pixel in space. And there we come in. With our solution, you bring light into this 3D scanning device. With one scan, our AI generates a 3D accurate model of the facility, which each object uniquely segmented. On this software, all stakeholders can plan their factory and maintain their factory together with our AI assistant, who knows what is in the factory and who remembers layouts, for example, but also office equipment. We take the sustainable road. With a second scan, we can just do a delta of the is model and the current model, and then we will update this 3D model automatically. And of course, our AI knows all the factories and all the 3D models and can then adjust again and do some suggestions. With our software, we bring departments together. So factory planners, logistics managers, procurement, or the whole project management can work together on one unique 3D model in the browser via any device. We have one goal, that is cutting planning time by 30% with this AI help and the collaboration. And the good thing is that you have one visual ground truth that you can really rely on. RIIICO's team consists of 3 founders. I've been knowing them for over 6 years, and we all have our expertise from different industries and backgrounds in engineering or business. The tech inside is what really makes us unique. We have built a recognition AI that only relies on synthetic data engineering. So we can actually detect any object based on 3D geometry and on color. Of course, no one wants to work with points, right? You see those one in the recognition picture. They're just tiny and you don't want to work with that. So what we do is meshing. We create surface models of those areas fully automatically, so you can also load and work with them everywhere. And then again, if you move that model, there are gaps, of course, where scanning errors have occurred. And we use Mending AI to solve this by using the texture and the idea our AI has about the room to close everything up nice and neat. When we're talking about pricing, we're thinking about per asset pricing. So you only have to pay for the factory once, and everyone can collaboratively work on it. Our top-down market estimation is around 55 billion annually, and we've done a really detailed bottom-up market estimation on how to reach the first 3.1 billion. When we're talking about traction, we have already sold and delivered more than 200,000 square meters in paid pilot projects, with Siemens and Volkswagen being our biggest clients, with different manufacturing factories working together in this scan. What you can see in the scan is again a prediction of AI, and it really shows that the new age of computer vision has arrived, where computers will understand the vision as good as we do. Without further ado, welcome to the new age of computer vision, and we are changing the way of factory planning. If you would like to be a part of that, feel free to message us. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the Q&A.
Awesome, Jan. Great pitch. Thank you so much. And let's get the jury on board for the Q&A. All right, who wants to start?
Which type of customers have a most pressing need for this? Because I can assume like rather small, medium-sized enterprises in manufacturing don't often change the layout, and it's rather like larger enterprises which probably have varying product lines and quicker product cycles.
Absolutely. The current pioneers on the markets are automotive players, for example, who have a high pressure to change their factory layouts. But if you talk about small and medium enterprises, you would be surprised how many have asked for our technology or our use case, because they do have the problem that they do not know anything about their factories, and also they feel the pressure from the market to change their factory layout. But yes, automotive is first currently.
So how does the whole onboarding process look like? So how easy and intuitive is the platform, also like performing the 3D scans, and how much hand-holding is needed to get like a customer started?
Yeah, great question. So currently, what all we require is one 3D scan, and our clients either have a 3D scanner themselves, or they have a 3D scanning service, which you can also forward them to create this 3D scan. And then it's just actually hosted on their server, so they keep all the data, they keep all the control on that. And then we try to make it very, very easy for everyone to use it, because we want to nerdify the factory planning so that everyone can be a part of it. So it is very easy to use the tool. It is really fun, actually, to plan new scenarios. That is our vision. More questions?
Yeah, and how do you, thanks so much, Jan. It's been incredibly interesting to see that. I'd be intrigued to hear your views around how you're sort of approaching markets, for example, in Asia, because there isn't a lot of production happening in Germany per se. If you look at, say textiles, for example, it's sort of very focused around automotive. So how do you think about, venturing into other areas as well and tackling international markets?
Yes, we do see a certain trend into more centralized planning. So having a lot of expertise in the headquarters and then having different satellites on where to implement. So our current goal is to target those headquarters. Because this is actually a really big problem, right? People planning factories in Asia, which sit in the US, which sit somewhere in other places of the world. And we are targeting the IT departments. And then we're going with different evangelists who believe in our software to the IT department, which say we will already buy a certain square meter amount from you. And then we do big license contracts, which then we have to renew every year.
Okay, gotcha.
Lucas, do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So I think my key question here is your integratability with other tools like geolocation or existing like inbuilt solutions that have been custom made for a given factory or even company. Where do you stand there today, and what's your plan?
Yeah, that is a super good question, right? There's a lot of open ideas for collaboration in this field. We believe that we offer the ground truth, right? We offer reality accurate 3D models, and everyone who has, for example, positioning data, who has tracking data, can use this this way as well to move or to analyze where people or assets are moving. We are totally open for that. Currently, we are in pilot projects about that, so I'm not going to say more about this now.
We would have time for one more question if there's any open questions still here with the jury.
Okay, so if there are more questions, we are actually raising seed right now until the end of the year. So if you're interested to reach out, feel free to add me on LinkedIn, and yeah, let's get to talk.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Jan.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for the presentation. And then we are already at our last startup. And last one up is Visual Makers, super exciting company from Cologne. And actually both founders will pitch for you. So enjoy the show.
Thanks so much, everyone. So we're Visual Makers, and we're the online school for no-code for the German-speaking market.
So what is no-code? Only 0.03% of the world population is able to code. With no-code, however, everybody can build software. The term no-code means software development without writing a single line of code, and it contains all the application that allows you to program visually. And you may already know no-code applications like different website builders or online shop builders. But as the functionality grows rapidly, and most of them are still not known in the DACH region, we want to spread the word. Because if you have a closer look at the advantages of no-code, it's learnable within hours, it's no longer limited to developers, and it's much faster than the traditional software development.
Our vision is to democratize tech by enabling everyone to build software without having to write a single line of code. With our online course platform, teams, individuals, and businesses learn to automate their processes and build their own websites, apps, and web apps. We're Alex and Lilith, and together we're building Visual Makers. I actually had no clue about tech 6 years ago. In fact, I wanted to be an actress and kind of stumbled into the startup world. And thanks to no-code, I'm an automation expert now and help others to automate their processes.
I got an IT background. I have developed different digital products throughout my professional career. But I always ask myself, isn't there a way to build software much faster and more cost efficient? And today I'm an expert in web and app development as well as prototyping with no-code. So whom is Visual Makers for? We talked to a lot of customers and discovered a wide range of problems and limitations while they are dependent on traditional coding by developers and agencies. So first of all, we got software agencies that spend a huge amount of time to develop custom software. Then we got marketing teams that are waiting ages for their IT department to set up new landing pages. We talked to founders that are looking for technical co-founders or developers to get their first MVP up and running. And also HR teams that are struggling with repetitive work every day, and many more.
So what can no-code do for them, and how can visual makers help them? So the software agencies, by example, can accelerate development up to 75% using no-code regarding speed and budget. Marketing teams, by example, learn to create landing pages by themselves and automate lots of their daily tasks without having to wait endlessly for their IT department to help them. Founders save risk and cost by creating MVPs with no code, iterate faster, and create products that are closer to their customers. And HR teams can also learn to automate recurring tasks and be more efficient in their daily processes.
So with Visual Makers, we created a learning platform and community for no-code that focuses specifically on the German-speaking market. That means we teach you in step-by-step video courses how to use the tools and show you real use cases that you can implement one-to-one in your own business. We also support you with the individual tool selection, and community is a big part of our business. That means we want to learn with and from each other. Therefore, we provide a communication platform where members can share experiences, ideas, and questions. And last but not least, our platform was 100% built with no code.
We launched in February this year, and since then, over 180 active members and counting joined, a quarter of them paid. We published more than 38 online courses regarding no-code, and 24 podcast episodes went live with an average of 200 listeners per week. And we won 8 partners, including the accounting software Fastbill and the automation provider Integromat.
Also, we are excited to tell you that Visual Makers is coming to universities. We are in the process of setting up a test phase with a big technical university from Germany to bring no-code to many, many students.
As said, our community is growing, and we already have some very happy makers with us who are making their businesses a little more efficient every day with no-code. And our next steps are to focus on our sales pipeline. So we want to target universities and startup hubs first. And on the operations side, we want to create more content for our platform.
We believe that everyone can build software with no code. For example, teams that gain focus and time through no code to work on the most important things, which will be an enormous market advantage. Or, for example, makers, creators, and entrepreneurs that can implement their ideas for digital products without writing a single line of code. We are Visual Makers, and our vision is to democratize tech by enabling everyone to build software. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lilith and Alex. Now for the last round of questions. Welcome back, the jury. And we have another 5 minutes for questions.
So on your content, so first of all, thanks for the pitch, really interesting, and definitely a trend we've been following closely. On the content creation that that you definitely need, is this currently done mostly by you guys, or is this community-based, and what's your plan there, especially also as you might move from German-based to English content, if that's not really the case?
So currently, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so currently we are providing the content by ourselves, but we're now at the point where we are looking for freelance creators, just to get more content on the platform, and we also plan to hire like content creators to provide content for the platform.
I have one more question to the content. So from what I understood, most of the classes are, or all classes are pre-recorded, right? So did you also think about like adding like a live class component, like looking at all of the cohort-based learning players around at the moment?
Yeah, actually, we're thinking a lot about cohorts right now. So we're kind of might be in the planning of that. So, but we also offer live webinars right now. We're kind of in the summer pause right now, but we're starting that in September again. So there's every 2 weeks a live webinar for our community members. And we also host breakfasts and member meetups regularly where the community members can meet.
Terrific. Lilith, Alexander, I've got one question. What is the most important vertical for you at the moment? So you mentioned software engineers, you mentioned marketeers, who all of them could be using the no-code tools out there. But who do you want to target first, and why?
Yeah, so this is a big point we're not struggling with, but so while no code is for everyone, we have to look for a specific target group. And this is also where the cohort-based courses come into play. where we can focus on a specific target group and run through a like 8-week program to, I don't know, create app businesses or like web designers, creating own apps and so on, and learn to market those apps and stuff like that. So this will be the next steps.
Terrific. And are you also planning, sorry, just a follow-up question. Are you also planning to actually go ahead and say, you know, tie up with other no-code tools so you would produce content on their behalf? Would there be any synergies on that front as well?
Yeah, definitely. That's part of our business model. So not to go that far, actually, that we would partner up with every no-code tool, but the ones that we find really useful for the German market. By example, we have Workato right now, which is an automation tool provider who want to grow with us on the German market. Especially for SMBs and enterprise businesses. So that's definitely something we would do if the use case fits.
And sorry, I will not ask another question.
Please, we have a little time.
Okay, anybody else wants to ask a question? Otherwise, I'll ask it. No? Okay. So I was wondering, why would such no-code tools go ahead and produce content together with you rather than putting out their own native content? What's in it for them? I'm just asking super blatantly here. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Totally valid question. So actually, the no-code tool providers really struggled with their capacities. As like when we launched in February, we had within 2 weeks we had the questions from no-code tool providers, especially from Europe, because most of the no-code tool providers, not like Bubble or so, which is kind of the biggest no-code tool right now on the market, or one of the biggest, but especially the ones who are popping out now have really struggled with capacities to create their own content. So they're all looking for content creators and people who educate their customers, because even if it's really easy to learn these tools, you still need best practices. What you have already in coding and traditional programming, you have all these best practices like Stack Overflow and these sorts of platforms, but you don't have that for no-code yet. So you need kind of these communities, and also the power of no-code tools lies also in combining them with each other. So if you use kind of glue tools like Integromat and Zapier and all these automation tools, there really lies the power within no-code tools. So it's really important for them to have content that is that kind of spreads wider than what they can only do with their tools.
All right, that was the 5 minutes. Thank you, Lil and Alex. And that concludes our last pitch. So I want to give the word again to the jury to wrap up the pitches and maybe share 1 or 2 tips or experiences with the founders and everybody listening as well.
Terrific. Then I'll start, I guess. Thanks so much, Lucas and the entire STARTPLATZ team for having me today, I guess, having us today. What I really loved actually was the entire melange of different topics that we actually got to witness today. So there was edtech, but there was mobility, and there was no code, there was a content platform, so and even fintech. And this was incredibly refreshing to see something that is so varied. I think my general advice for all of the companies would be, and sort of that coming from a perspective of a former entrepreneur, would be to chew as much as one can swallow. So this means that I think necessary focus in the beginning is something that's great. And focus doesn't mean to be, to be overly restricted in one direction, but it means to maybe, test and iterate certain strategies, be it go-to-market strategies, or be it certain, customers you're focusing on. I think that would help. I think being too broad in the beginning and trying to focus on everything usually turns out to be difficult, if that makes sense. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Thank you, Chica.
I can only just add to what Chica already said. So big thank you also from my side. I think it was really great to see this broad range of topics. And I mean, all of the topics are quite like zeitgeist topics, I would say. So super, pressing topics. So really curious to see how everyone does in the future. And I can also add that like testing with users, iterating the feedback is like probably the most crucial part in the beginning, and also what we as pre-seed and seed investors look for, like that you can show us some data, like how users behave, also if you don't generate revenues already, but just show that you understand the user and that you make use of the feedback, and kind of keep going, and good luck.
Thanks, Anna. Alex?
Yeah, that's obviously something we all wish for all the entrepreneurs, that they basically succeed in the end of the day. I think it's super impressive to see what you guys also with STARTPLATZ have been building over the last years. And I think like the wide variety of topics and founder profiles and also style of entrepreneurship that's being lived in it, it's pretty cool and super impressive. And I think it's a stretch for every founder to build a company in like a remote and hybrid setup, and then even pitch in a remote setup. So congrats to all the pitches today. And I think like for us as Cherry, it's always impressive to see how much passion a founder builds something. So having like that kind of founder market fit, where we feel like a founder has unique insights in an early stage company, always helps us very much to understand if we believe actually in the team, which it is very often in an early stage. If you are honest, it's a team bet very often, since there's not so much there. And I think like that's something we saw today with all the teams.
Thank you, Alex.
Sorry, I also join the thanks of everyone else. It was a great event. Also really appreciate the cool platform. Nice virtual interpretation of how this would usually look in person. My piece of advice would really be from a perspective of someone who invests in A rounds, is to focus on also the organizational foundations and on your narrative in addition, right? Both the boring stuff and the more exciting stuff. Because what we are really looking for at the end of the day are companies that are on the cusp of something, and I think we've seen quite a few today. So thanks again for having me/us, and looking forward to seeing the company succeed.
Awesome. Thank you once again for your time and your passion, your questions, and your involvement. And have a great evening to you guys. Hope to see you soon at future demo days. And with that, a big congratulations from us to all the startups. You made it. You successfully graduated from our accelerator. A lot of work went into it. And we know you worked hard, and you did a great job, and we look forward to following you now in the future. If you want to get in touch with the teams, you can obviously scan the barcode here, or just look at our LinkedIn, social media, etc. And before we leave you for the networking, we have a quick teaser for the upcoming batch 24, which starts on Monday. So no break for us. So we have 11 new teams joining from all over Germany again. So this will be a remote batch, but we will have the kickoff on site. So 2 full days in Cologne next week. We're looking forward to some real person interaction again. And once again, we have teams from Berlin, Munich, Hamburg, obviously Cologne, Düsseldorf, Aachen, from all over the country. And a very diverse batch again, very diverse industry representation. And we're also very happy that we have now for the first time 50% of the founders being female. So that's great that we could achieve that. And Demo Day batch 24 will come up in December, obviously. And with that, we want to thank you for joining us. There's networking now opening inadvertently. Just have a look on the left menu. And if you want to watch this again in the future, it's on our YouTube channel. But that was it from our side. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good evening. Goodbye.